Good afternoon, it's Liam Neild here with your MU review for Manchester United's 1-0 defeat at the Hawthornes against West Brom. And I mean, what is there really to say about this? I mean, there's not much a review to be done. If you watch the game, or even if you didn't watch the game, you can just sort of take a look at the stats. Juan Mata sent off in the 26th minute. Salomon Rondon scores halfway through the second half. Done and dusted. That's pretty much all that happened. Was not a good game at either end. To be honest, I don't know if Juan Mata being on the pitch would have helped. We didn't seem to really be up for it today. But obviously, it's difficult to really critique a performance from a side when they're down to 10 men because the tactics change, the nature of the game changes, the confidence levels change for both sides, and ultimately, you just once West Brom had scored, you sort of thought that was the way it was going to go. I mean, first half was very scrappy, obviously with Mata getting sent off, and I mean Juan Mata, he was hero to zero for him. Like he was the hero midweek. He was the one player who bailed us out, got us the victory, and now he's gone and shot us in the foot and basically made all the ground we made up on Wednesday has basically now come to nothing by losing here. It's a bit like when we beat Liverpool and then lost to Southampton. It completely nullifies the result that we just got, and it's in large part down to Juan Mata, who I would consider to be one of the most level-headed and passionate United players, being stupid and immature. And the first yellow card was silly enough. Why anyone would get a yellow card for just blocking a free kick out of frustration. Like, all right, I know the referee was giving a lot of fouls West Brom's way at the beginning, but you're a professional footballer. You're one of the most senior players on the pitch. You've got to keep your head in that situation, and he didn't. And then on top of that, he can't even last 5 minutes after he gets booked without going and hacking down Darren Fletcher. I mean, no one who's on a booking can make that kind of challenge. It was just stupid play from Mata, and I'm sure he knows that. I don't think he's going to sit here and try and defend himself. But it's extremely disappointing for a player who has been so good at times this season, has been a real leader, to completely screw the rest of the team over, and he's let the team down there. Like I said, aside from that, I don't think we didn't start very well anyway. So, I mean, like I said, I'm not sure exactly how much difference it would have made. We could have very well lost the game anyway. But at least now we have an excuse. At least now Van Gaal has something he can tell the press when they start slaughtering him again, as they will. Because ultimately, the press are going to blame it on Van Gaal, and I don't think it's his fault. I think it's Juan Mata's fault. I think it's the players' fault. I think that they needed to get up for this game. They needed to realise that this is a big opportunity for us now that we've made up a bit of ground midweek. We needed to kick on, especially with City winning, and Arsenal and Spurs dropped points by playing each other. Leicester won, Liverpool won, West Ham won. We're below West Ham now. West Ham have a better chance of top four than us, and that's ridiculous. I mean, it's really disheartening to think that a team with the amount of talent we have doesn't have the self-belief that a team like Leicester has, that a team like West Ham has, that when they go down, West Ham went down we're 2 goals down against 10 men, and they never let that get them down. They went and won 3-2, and even though we had the 10 men, you sort of thought, the old United wouldn't let having 10 men stop them from going out and trying to win the game, especially when you go 1-0 down. When you're at the end of the game, I was getting a bit annoyed with the commentator because Morgan Schneiderlin got the ball and he started passing it sideways, and the commentator was, furious, saying, why on earth is he not lumping that into the box? And I said, well, I don't know. If you'd actually been watching the game, you might have noticed that we lumped the ball forward to Martial about 15 times, and every single time the 6'6" Martin Olsen or Jonas Olsen has headed the ball, as you'd expect from a guy who's 6 inches taller than our centre forward. So that's why you can't cross the ball. What was annoying me was that when you're 1-0 down with 5-10 minutes to go, Chris Smalling, Fosu Mensah, Rojo, all these players who have a little bit of height and strength were just hanging back. Like, what have you got to lose? Leave one person back for all I care. I don't care if we lose 2 or 3-0 if we're going to try and go win it, or if we're going to go try and equalise. But the problem was, as soon as we went a goal down, no one had any belief. Not one player in a Manchester United shirt thought, fuck it, we're going to win it anyway. We're going to go and show them that just because they've got the man advantage, we're still going to stick it to them. Not one player really believed that they were going to do anything in that game. As soon as Mata got sent off, the writing was on the wall, and as soon as Rondon, scored, you might as well have ended the game there because it was over. And West Brom ultimately just wanted it more. They won every 50-50. There was a moment towards the end of the game where we had a throw-in, and it goes towards Schneiderlin, and he lets it go over his head, and then loses a 50-50, and then it comes out to Blind, and Blind loses a 50-50, and that was basically the story of the game, is that West Brom wanted it more than we did, and our players were hesitant, they were scared, and they didn't believe in themselves, and that is so that is the antithesis of Manchester United. Manchester United is a football club. I don't care if you have, the highest quality players or the bog standard players. You're supposed to weave into the fibers of their being is supposed to be that we are fucking Manchester United and we're gonna go and we're gonna win no matter what happens. If we're down to 9 men, 8 men, if we get goals disallowed, if we have penalties given against us that aren't penalties, we're still gonna win the game. And that is the spirit that we've lacked this whole season. And it's just, once again, it's just so depressing to watch a team that does not think that they can do it. We've got good players. We've got good young players. We've got a decent spine to our team, and not one of them really thinks that they deserve to be in the top four. Not one of them thinks we are a top four team. We're better than this team. Let's go and beat them. West Brom had more confidence than us today, and that is why they beat us. Not because we were down to 10 men, but because once we were down to 10 men, they thought, right, let's go have a go at them, and we thought, bollocks, we're going to lose. And that's what happened, because it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that lack of self-belief and spirit, like I said, is just symptomatic of everything that has been going on at United this season. We are a mess at board level. When at times we're a mess on the pitch, and just like I said, every time that we look like we've turned a corner, we're standing in dog shit. And once again, win 4 games on the bounce, lose to West Brom, get a man sent off. So now we got 3 games away from the Premier League to really try and see if we can. And it's once again just like the other week when we went into those 3 games against Shrewsbury, Midtjylland and Arsenal. I said those 3 games were really going to make or break our season, and we won all 3 games, and I was very positive after that, following that up with the Watford game. I thought, right, we've gotten through in the FA Cup, we're through in the Europa League, we've beaten Arsenal with a depleted team, now we've got some of it back, and now we've just gone and put ourselves right back where we started. We might as well have not beaten Watford at this rate. And it's just something that we now really just, by the time we play in the Premier League again, we could very well be out of the FA Cup in the Europa League. And if that happens, then I might as well not watch anymore, because there's nothing to play for at that point. Because top 4 is, it's pie in the sky, and it's not over. I'm not going to pretend it is, especially after, seeing what happened midweek. That could happen any given week. And we're playing Man City, next time we play in the Premier League. And that, honestly, that more than anything is why I'm so upset that we didn't get the win today or get a point today, is because if we could have gone into that game level on points with City, whether they have a game in hand or not, they would feel the pressure, and we would feel the belief that we could go and overtake them. But now, we're 3 points behind City again, and they've got a game in hand, and we're behind West Ham. Forget City. So we're going to go to the Etihad, and if we get beat there, then top 4's gone. And I mean, to be honest, we having to go to the Etihad to win and win is just, even Man City can't do that sometimes. So yeah, I just hope that obviously we've got a big tie against Liverpool coming up, and we're going to play both legs of those before we play the Premier League again. And beating Liverpool would give us a bit of a boost, and I think it's what we need to target these next 3 games. And it's something my dad said. My dad is usually as pissed off as any United fan when a performance like that's put in, but he was very he wasn't as angry as you might be after the game, because ultimately you just got to put these kinds of results to one side, is what he said. When you go down to 10 men with over an hour of the game remaining, it's gonna be difficult. And when you're already playing a team that's as physical and confident as West Brom are, having been on good form and be all of them be trolls basically, you're gonna have a tough time. And then putting yourself down to 10 men with over an hour to go just makes it even worse. And ultimately you saw it coming. I said before the game I'd be more surprised if we won than if we lost, and that's what's gone and happened. So hopefully moving forward we can put this to one side and not let it affect our confidence like we have so many times this season when we've gone and been beaten. And we need to go to Anfield on Thursday, and we need to get ourselves back on track. If 2 weeks from now, if we're going into the game in the Etihad still in the Europa League because we've knocked out Liverpool, and in the FA Cup semi-finals, then I'll fancy us. I'll fancy us to go and beat Man City with the form that they put in. But if we go into that game out of the Europa League and out of the FA Cup, I fully expect us to finish 7th or 8th, because the players are just going to lose all belief that they can do anything this season. Those cup competitions are really what's boosting us. If you remember, the win against Arsenal came after getting through in both the FA Cup and the Europa League. So we need to try and do that again, and we've got much more difficult opponents this time. Liverpool were down to 10 men for half an hour in their game against Crystal Palace, and they were already 1-0 down when they went down to 10 men, and guess what? They won the game. Liverpool have more self-belief than us right now, and that disgusts me and disappoints me more than anything as a Man United fan. Is we should believe that we are a team that can do this, because Liverpool believe. why don't we? Ultimately, why don't we? It's difficult to pick a man of the match when your team's played as averagely as we did. I think Jesse Lingard was probably our best player. He was the one player who really had a go. And, he's the one player, that being said, who has the Manchester United mentality, really. I mean, Rashford also had a go, and Fosu Mensah was good when he came on. So, once again, it's the youngsters who've really got it together, and the senior players who have lost the plot. And um, yeah, you just obviously the mug of the match is Juan Mata. So I hope he goes away and really thinks about what's happened here. I think he's ruled out. I think he's ruled out of the Sunday match at West Ham, but I think he'll be playing in the Europa League. So hopefully this will inspire him to go and make it up to all of us, because God knows he should. Can't wait to read his blog after this. But anyway, if you've enjoyed the video, I'm sure you haven't, because it's not been very uplifting. But if you've enjoyed the video, maybe like it, comment, subscribe, do some things to cheer me up, because I could really use it today. But anyway, thanks for watching, and see you on Thursday.